Hi, I'm Reuben Christian and welcome to a fresh new video series here on Pioneers TV called Industry Insider. Each episode will be taking a look at specific industries and speaking to key influencers. For this episode, we'll be covering the publishing industry.
From our point of view, I think people print a lot less.
It's a tough marketplace. Yes, most people are online.
I don't think that people will ever truly be like, oh, I want to see everything on a Kindle.
You have to have that in today's world. You can't not have a magazine and a website.
Print has its place, especially when you're talking about, big brands like Vogue. You could never really see them just being an online magazine.
So what exactly, Joe, is Don't Panic?
Don't Panic is two things, a publication and marketing company. The publication is a pack and a website. The packs contain a poster that we've always got really well-known people to do. I mean, one of the first artists was Banksy about 11 years ago. Yeah. And since then, we had Shepard Fairey straight afterwards, obviously, who does all the, Obama posters. And we had Banksy again in 2010. He came back and did another one.
Okay.
So they've been a...
Like.
Yeah. He's been here quite a few times.
Oh, in this place?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can touch the chair he sat on.
Really? I'll steal the chair then.
Yeah. So we started out giving out flyers. Yeah. We then thought we've got a good medium here to distribute other stuff. So then we put in the Don't Panic poster, so free art and design. And we'd make the posters about an issue, topical kind of political or social issue. And then with a link to our site, so then people could get the poster, look at the artwork, stick it on their wall or whatever, read about a small bit about an issue, and then go on our site and read a bit more. We then started getting asked to do bigger stuff. So then we started Don't Panic Marketing.
Rewind is a magazine published monthly, aimed at 14 to 24-year-olds, or thereabouts, mostly young males. We're available in JD throughout the UK and Ireland. Print at current counts, I think it's just under 100,000 a month. And we're music, fashion, lifestyle, film, sport, anything that young kids are into, gadgets, games.
Topman Generation is a multi-platform digital magazine with sporadic print editions for Fashion Week.
So how did you get into publishing in the first place?
My two friends started Don't Panic and then they just invited me to join them. They started the packs, and then they just needed my help, I guess, or they needed anyone's help, and then I just came and joined at that point.
I think I was working at another magazine called Touch at the time, which has since gone down. You remember Touch? Yeah. Classic magazine. It was one of the magazines that I grew up on. One of the reasons why I wanted to get into journalism really was because of Touch. Things happen. I think maybe the team at Touch changed, and I think I just left when someone at Rewind got in touch with me. They'd asked around a little bit and had heard my name bandied about. At that time I was also writing for ID and doing some stuff for The Guardian, so I was quite prolific in who I was writing for and what I was writing. They saw that I had quite a commercial mind, and that chimed in with what they were looking at the time, which was to take Rewind from being what was slightly niche at that time, but was beginning to progress an awful lot, and so sort of combining sort of editorially what I was trying to bring to it and what they already had in place. The idea was to sort of make a much bigger, better, bolder magazine. I
got a phone call from James Brown, who is a publisher and was the publisher of Loaded in the 90s and now does Sabotage Times, and he'd been asked to find an editor for this position to take on this magazine that was being produced by him and Saatchi.
What is it like working in publishing?
Generally, publishing, it's not the healthiest time. It's harder for me to get commission now than it was, say, a year, 2 years ago. And when I do get commission, even from the broadsheets, the word rate has been slashed. The future of Rewind as a magazine is still very steady. We're fortunate enough to be getting in, making lots of money from ads, making lots of money online from filming things. We're very stable as a company. In fact, somehow we seem to be getting stronger and stronger. If you to go free now is quite hard for a lot of magazines. We've always been free, so we've actually only increased in value as we've gone along.
For me, there's going to be a divergence between sites like ourselves, which have pretty high traffic but not high in a global kind of sense. We won't be able to make that much money from sort of cost per thousand type advertising, because the cost per thousand is going to be so low. So the future for companies like us, in my opinion, is going to be more things like branded content.
Who's shaping the industry and where do you think it's heading?
I don't think anyone is specifically shaping the industry. I think the industry is changing. I think the great thing for writers and editors and journalists is that brands are now wanting to do masses of content.
What value does print have in today's crowded digital market?
I think it holds a lot of value still. I think people still want to look at a really lovely magazine and look at the pictures and appreciate it's a tough marketplace. Yes, most people are online looking and reading and researching things. They're not picking up magazines like they used to, but I think there's still a big market for people that appreciate things that look brilliant, that are really well written.
What print brings is the prestige, I think, because anyone can kind of get their work seen digitally, but it's actually quite rare now to get your work in print, and I think that has a big, still has a big allure for a lot of people.
Print still has a lot of value in the digital market, and as the publisher Jefferson Hack remarked, you know, it becomes kind of a souvenir of the experience of, you know, if you do have this massive swathe of stuff you're putting out there digitally, it's still beautiful to be able to take a really bespoke, beautifully made object and have it and own it, and I think people will always be like that.
Some very wise words there from our big bad influencers, but now it's time to meet some movers and shakers from our own Pioneers community.
Flavour Magazine is a youth lifestyle publication that focuses on music, fashion, entertainment and young entrepreneurs. But since our launch, we've also expanded into other mediums, so we do events, we also have a website, and we do lots of other things.
Hotminute Magazine is an online events and lifestyle publication, and we cover anything and everything that's hot and happening in London. So be it arts, theatre, lifestyle, food, music, if it's hot, it's in Hotminute.
So tell me what it's like working in publishing.
I love it. One, it's good because this is my business. So when I get up each day, you know, I'm happy to come into the office and know that what I'm working towards is for myself, for Leonard and for our team. And so that's the enjoyable part for me.
So where do you guys fit in the market?
I think we're quite niche in that we're catering to the young 25+ professional, and also the fact that in terms of events, really and truly I think the only real key magazine out there is probably Time Out. And so we want to kind of bridge that gap to be the kind of space for the young professional.
Are there any entrepreneurs in general that have influenced you?
If you research me, I think you'll know the answer to this.
I kind of do, but I'm at home.
Okay, it's Oprah.
Yes.
I love Oprah.
Yeah.
Love everything that she's achieved, everything that she's done. She's, in terms of the business, you know, that's where I'd want to be in terms of she has, you know, a radio company, a TV station, a magazine, you know, the whole network.
Who do you think is shaping the publishing industry and where do you think it's heading?
I think someone like The Stylist have definitely got it right because they've got the right balance between print. I mean, it's once a week, but then they also have the online channel and they also have Emerald Street, which gives you kind of bite-sized content every day that people subscribe to.
What advice do you have for anybody getting into publishing?
If you are going to get into the publishing industry, I think you need to look at it in a very sort of contemporary view, like what are you going to even bother to print, or are you just going to go straight onto a Kindle or an iPad, like make your magazine look amazing like that? Or if you are going to print, how many, how are you going to distribute it? There's an awful lot of questions. As I said before though, you know, print isn't dead. I think it's still an important part of the way that people access information, and I think people still want to access their information that way, and I think if we can engage the very young generation, which I hope is what we want to do, to, you know, that why it's interesting, why it's great to pick up a magazine. If you can do that with your magazine, if that's why you're getting into print, then fantastic.
I think the key thing is that you just have to keep doing what you do and believe that it's going to take you where you want to get to. Yeah. So if anyone really wants to be an editor, then my advice to them is like get a good solid grounding in something like basically in copy editing and actually editing text. I mean, people think that proofreading is like reading and then going like, oh, it's all right, but it's not. You have to be really on that.
I would just say go and work for somebody else before you do it. The negative side of just starting your own thing when you're quite young is you don't have enough experience. It's better to make your mistakes on somebody else's money, if you see what I mean.